Hello, it is I, Moira, McDonald, and today I'm going to finish off some of the things. Bear with me because I'm almost certainly going to kick the tripod that the camera's on. I'm just not set up for this kind of thing. Right, yesterday, as you know, we made those kind of tag pockets, and I got left with some stuff on my desk. And I would like to use it up, so what I'm going to do is try and finish off some little Patricia Viramontes type pockets that I made the other day. I'll see if I can link to the particular video that I watched of Patricia's the other day. She had made some pockets. She sewed round hers, but I'm not going to bother with that. At this stage, when I was doing the tutorial the other day on napkin decoupage, I used the napkin to do the corners of this particular little pocket. My intention is that this will get stuck in a book and provide two pockets there and a tuck there, and will just be an attractive feature of the book because I'm going to decorate this and do some more on these, and obviously tags will be kept in these pockets. So at this point, what I'm going to do is start by decorating the outside of this. Now it will stick to a book. This one, because it opens that way, I'm going to stick it to a book like that, and I'm going to decorate this side here. So I'm not so much interested in distressing the actual page of the book that I've used, although I can maybe just run around the edge with a wee bit of vintage photo. But it is a fairly old book. I couldn't tell you the year, I can't actually remember, because to be fair, I've not looked at that aspect of it for quite a wee while. It was an ordnance survey book of Scotland, and it's, I'll show you it. Wait a minute, I've got it lying quite close to me. Hold on a wee second and I'll show you it. And we can get a rough idea of the year. It's an Ordnance Gazetteer of Scotland, Volume 1, 84, and this is the book here. It is from 1903, and it is, well, I've torn quite a bit out of it. It is a good age, obviously, and it wasn't in great condition. I got it for £1 in a shop in the West End of Glasgow. Caroline, it's a shop that if I took you in, I would never get you back out of it. I know that for a fact. It's full of all sorts of interesting things, but it is really, it has, from what I can see, it has no sort of rhyme or reason to how things are packed in, and it is packed to the gunnels with stuff. Never seen anything quite as busy in my life in terms of what it's got in it. But it's a real searching job when you go in to look. I found that because they had a section just at the door for books that were £1, and I thought, that sounds like my kind of price. And I went through the books till I found something. I actually found that in another couple that were quite interesting in terms of what we do here. So I picked them up. I mean, it was a wee while ago, so that's been getting well used. Right, I've got one of my images from the other day. This is basically a bill for something from General Outfitters. I can't, the print is so wee, but it was in the 1880s anyway. The printing's really quite small, but it was something I bought on eBay, and it was the actual bill. I've got the bill up the stairs, so I scanned it in and used it for ephemera because I didn't want to use the original. It's obviously it's quite old, and it's a good thing to have from the point of view of the original ephemera. So because I was able to scan it in, I've also been able to add digitally a a bunch of flowers, if you like, on top of it, and then just kind of, the flowers are, you affect the opacity when you're using Photoshop, and it makes it a wee bit see-through, so you can still see part of the bill through the image. So I do that quite a lot. It makes, I mean, I did sell on Etsy some ephemera, and I think I've still got some on, and a couple of digital packs that I did at one point, but I'll be honest, they take up a lot of time, and because they take up a lot of time, seriously, for me to make it financially worthwhile, I think I'd need to charge quite a lot for what I feel I've put into it. I just, it wouldn't be competitive, so there isn't any point. As it is, I put on some stuff at dirt cheap prices and I still can't sell it. And I don't think it's that there's anything wrong whatsoever with what I do. I think the bottom line is there just aren't enough folk know me or go to my shop. So in that respect, there's no point in, you know, flogging a dead horse. Now what I'm going to do is an old card maker's trick. I'm going to actually mat and layer that. So I'm matting it and layering it on top of a piece of coffee dyed card that I've now just distressed around the edge of, and it just kind of frames it in some respects and makes for a more interesting image. If I put that there, effectively, I would still, you know, I don't want to put it on like that. When you put something on flat like that, it's attractive, but it's not very interesting. Whereas if you put it at a bit of an angle, and you maybe add something down here, it adds to the interest in the page. The other thing I would say when you're doing kind of collage stuff like this is, for some reason, odd numbers tend to be more attractive to the eye. I have no idea what the psychology behind it is, but that being the case, what I plan to do is I have stamped out and used an oval die to cut some images. These are just some wee images from Tim Holtz stamp set. So I've stamped them out on coffee stained card again. I'll die cut them with an oval die. I'm going round the edge with distress ink. Just, that's the dog growling in the back, and the dog's just lying on the floor growling at himself. Not to worry, I'm sure there's a reason in his head. Right, so I'm just going to go round. I got a wee postage stamp and I cut that with a wee fancy kind of postage stamp type pair of scissors that I got at the Crafters D-Stash in Kilmarnock last year. So I got them for 50p basically. Right, so if I stick that there and maybe put a wee image down there, I obviously need to fix that properly and get it on there right. Put that down there at a wee angle. I'm kind of still left with a wee bit of space up here. So what I thought I might do is, I've got some rice paper decoupage images that I could use to stick there, and that'll just add a wee bit of colour to that page as well as that. Or I could use a wee bunch of flowers. In fact, it might be sensible to use a wee bunch of flowers because there's flowers in that, it might go better. So that is what I shall do. And we did decoupage the other day, so you've got a rough idea of how I work that. Now what I do need is a brush, because rather foolishly I've sat down without one. Wait a minute, I'm going to move these off my desk. These have been on my desk since the other day. When something makes it onto my desk, it can sometimes take a very long time for it to move off of my desk, and in that respect, if I get the chance to clear stuff away, I'm better doing it, because if I don't, it'll just lie indefinitely. Now, it's not a massive image, so we could get away with a glue stick, and we need my trusty piece of acetate, which is lying nearby. Let's now go watch with this particular book page. Oops, it's very old paper and would easily rip if I do anything too rough. Right, so we're going to stick that there. Got to take my acetate. To be honest, with an image so small you can probably go over it with your fingers anyway. Gently remove my acetate. I don't think I need to actually go over that. I think that's fine as it is. Now I'm going to stick this down on my mat. And what I did was, in terms of cutting my mat, measure your image if you're going to do something like this and add roughly a 1/4 of an inch in total to the length and breadth, and then you'll get a sort of this is probably a wee bit more than a 1/4 of an inch. In fact, no, maybe not. It gives you a nice frame size to add to that. Now I'll add my little, I'm going to use my hot air balloon. And put that down the bottom. Like that. Now I shall just add my glue here. And stick it on like that at an angle. Just again adding to the layer of things. You've got your odd number because you've got your 1, 2, 3. You've got your variety of interest, and that effectively is the outside of that wee pocket. So now all I've got to do is worry about the inside. Now I've already added a couple of things here. I've got my wee bit napkin decoupage in the corner there and another wee bit napkin decoupage there. I could also, bear with me, I've got this is my big, oops, stuff falling over, my big bag of interesting things. And in here I've got all of the images that I've run off the computer at some point. I think these are Tsunami Rose by the looks of things, and these are a good size for me to use in this. It's just some wee images. I think she does it's some sort of flower pack she does, and Tsunami Rose does things very economically in terms of cost. You know, they're not overly expensive at all, and certainly not for what you get. So they're ideal for doing this with. I mean, these are full-size images, and if you're looking for any information and advice on how to reduce images when you're using the computer, if you're on a Windows computer, I saw a video by I think the girl's name's Cheryl, that's Deli Girl 1961, and again if I can I'll leave a link to that one. And she does, she shows you how to reduce the size using a Windows computer, and that's how I knew how to do it, because until then I didn't know how to well, I knew how to get things slightly smaller, but I didn't know how to get anything quite this small. Now all I'm going to do is add them there. I might actually also put a little bit of lace below them. This is the coffee stained lace that I had from the other day as well, and what I'm going to do is just make it a wee bit raggedy, if you like, and a wee bit less uniform. Just stick that at the back. I'm going to add a wee bit of the cheesecloth stuff. Cheesecloth's a bit like trying to walk in a labyrinth, do you know that? I mean, honestly, it's no matter what you do, you always discover that you've actually got a lot more of it than you thought you had. Right, so got my lace, got my cheesecloth, got my image, and we're just going to stick that there and hope to goodness that it sticks. What I'll do first of all, I think, is add a bit of glue stick to try and get the lace on. And I think that's going to work, not to worry. Don't need to overdo the amount of glue you're using here. It's going to go through, nature of lace, it's going to go through the lace anyway. Shove a cheesecloth on it. And then just add it. Hold it in place for a wee minute or two, and hopefully that will hold everything down. To the other side. Where did I put that wee bit of lace? There it is. So, wee bit of lace. First of all, put my wee bit of glue down to hold my lace. Get that out the way. Get out of my road. Tell me I distressed this, because I can't remember. I did. Whew, that was lucky. Right, add my wee bit of cheesecloth below that again, and I'm wanting it to go that way this time. And just hold it into place. Need to clean the lid of that glue. And that's that. So we've got a wee pocket there, got a wee pocket there, and we're going to have a tuck there. Just stick them down again, and that's us. That's that one done. Move it out of the way, and I'll put it under something to hold it down so that the glue definitely sticks. Right, next wee envelope. Excuse me, another one of my bills that I've got, and I've added the image of the wee girl. So we shall get her distressed round the edge. And again, I'm doing this. See, I always worry that I bore you, because to me this is quite repetitious, and it's, to be honest, it's not really the way I work, because I don't generally do 2 and 3 things at a time. I literally do items as and when I need them, and I just worry that I bore you when I'm making stuff, because you sit and you watch and you think, are you doing that again, Moira? You know, you're layering an image exactly as you did in the last one. You know, where's the interest for us there? Right, we'll add that wee bird cage, and how about I've got a wee hydrangea, or I've got wee butterflies, or a wee rose to add to her. Now, I don't think it really matters much. I do quite like the wee hydrangea. I will add the wee hydrangea to her. Right, so first things first, we shall add the wee hydrangea up the top. I'll use my glue stick. The other good thing about using the glue stick is it dries really quite quickly, in terms of, you know, if you've glued a bigger area than you're actually going to be using, it doesn't remain sticky forever. It'll, you know, it'll dry off quite quickly. Wee trusty bit of acetate to flatten it down. Take your time lifting it off if you need to. That's fine, that doesn't need going over in any way. That is absolutely top notch. Right, now we're going to stick my lady onto my card. Incidentally, I have not always been a crafter. I have no crafting background beyond what I've done probably in the past, maybe, I don't know, 17 years I reckon I've been at it now. You know how some folk, they've always crafted, not me. Artistic ability, no. This actually came about when my boy went to school when he was young. I found myself in the position that I was in the house all day myself, and I had worked when I had my boy, but my boy wasn't overly keen. This seems to be a recurring theme in my life. He wasn't overly keen in sleeping the whole night through, and now I have dogs that are a bit like that. And I worked up until he was about, I think he was about 18 months old, and I couldn't take it any longer because I was absolutely exhausted. I was getting up in the morning and driving 26 miles to my work and having to come back 26 miles at night, invariably having been told by a nursery that was looking after him that he'd been miserable all day, or he'd been crying a lot and just, you know, didn't seem to want to eat his dinner. So eventually I thought, you know, I'm gaining nothing from this and he certainly isn't. So I stopped working and decided I would be a stay-at-home mum. And much as I needed the money, you adjust in life and you just cut your cloth, if you like, to suit what fate has fattened out for you. So we did not have fancy holidays, we didn't have an overly fancy house in any way, we just had enough to get by, and we were happy enough in that respect. Didn't look for anything out of life, but I was sitting bored out of school in the house all day, and you would think, you know, well, Moira, you could have went out to work. Yes, maybe I could have, but again, you're constrained by school holidays. I had no family nearby, I had nobody to look after them, so I was going to have to pay for childcare, and given the luck I'd had with childcare when he was young, I thought, no, I'll tell you what, I will just give up my life and be in the house with my son as and when he needs me, and that was the way life dealt me a blow, if you like. So anyway, sitting in the house all day, there's a nice wee bit of lace, why don't we add that there? I decided that the internet was quite an interesting thing. It was, to me, it was quite new at that point, and I, through being in the likes of the Microsoft network chat rooms, got involved in what they used to call signature tags, and it was basically making just graphic tags that were used online with folks' names on them. In those days it was Paint Shop Pro everybody used, nobody used Adobe Photoshop. So I had Paint Shop Pro and their animation studio, and used to make small graphics that I taught myself. You know, you would follow one or two wee online basic tutorials as to how to make things, and that was how I learned how to make graphic images. I had worked in housing, I helped the homeless, I didn't have any sort of artistic background at all, so this was quite different for me, but quite enjoyable and a lot less stressful, because obviously when you're dealing with the homeless, it brings a whole new meaning to tension in your life, believe you me. And I really enjoyed it. So I was doing it quite well. I mean, you weren't getting any money for it. It was literally just doing it for folk that you happen to meet, a bit the way you do with YouTube now and through Facebook. Although I didn't have Facebook at that point. I don't know if Facebook existed. It probably did, but I just didn't know about it. And I had a friend that I'd met through doing this, a lady in Wales, and she had said to me, you know, she says, oh, your images are awfully nice. Have you never thought of making cards? Greeting cards? And I said, no, not really. But I started to think about it, and that's how I started making cards. And I really enjoyed making cards. I tried to sell them with varying degrees of success, I have to say. Obviously got the Etsy shop, and the whole problem when you're selling things is it's not your skill, because I think I'm really quite good at the things I make. I think I make them to a really high quality, but if at the end of the day there is no easy way of letting you show them to people, you're never going to sell anything. And if you can't sell anything, it's not as if you can you know, live on any income you're making. So I sold in a few shops, but again, card shops are very few and far between here. You tend to find that everything is all big chains of shops now. There are very, very few independent card shops. The one I did find that was in the area I sold my cards through quite successfully. I used to sell in call centres. You know, I'd go down at lunchtime and set up my wee stand and show folk my cards. And the thing that really annoyed me about doing the cards is I'm very much of the opinion that when you make things, you make them on an individual basis. And my cards, the intention has always been that everything was individual, like people, and that's my wee slogan in my shop, as individual as you are. And what I would do is I would offer a personalised service. So I would put somebody's name on a card, and invariably everybody wanted their name on a card, and that's fair enough. But the only problem is it started to get to the stage where I would be making them duplicate. I was making the card for people to see, then they'd come along and say, oh, I really like that, could you make me one of them and put John on it? So you were having to remake the card, and when you're remaking everything that you're doing, you know, it reached the stage where you thought, oh, what's the point in this? You know, they're no individual, because I was left with a stock image, if you like, as well as having made one to sell. And it wasn't, you know, I'm not I don't have a salesman's mentality, because obviously my working experience had all been about helping people, working with the homeless. I'd, you know, taking advantage of folk, getting money out of them wasn't something I thought of. So it didn't come as second nature to me at all, and I found it really quite difficult to sell and I still find it quite difficult to sell. Sorry, camera cut out. Oh, I can only film for 30 minutes at a time and then it cuts out. So where I was, you know, it's never been my nature to sell, to take advantage of, but selling isn't taking advantage, but you know what I mean. It's obviously you're trying to get money, and that's, I'm just not cut out like that, do you know what I mean? It doesn't, I find it quite difficult to do it. Right, do you know, I don't know if I'm happy with that, because I think that's a wee bit bigger than I really want it to be. So what I'm going to do is take a bit of cheesecloth and just add that wee typewriter image there to this side, and right, so anyway, so sold reasonably successfully within reason, if you like, but the problem was it was taking up a lot of room, and quite frankly the amount I was selling wasn't really making it worthwhile to consider it a job. I'm going to use one of those little envelopes that I made yesterday and stick it on that side with a wee bit of lace below it. So I got bored and I stopped for a few years and didn't do anything crafting wise. I just found myself quite disillusioned, I suppose, and as a result didn't really bother. I had a friend through Twitter who made stuff and sold on, she's an American lady, sold stuff on Etsy. I'd never heard of Etsy, and she told me about it, and the way she explained it, I had visions of it being a kind of, as Americans would say, mom and pop type setup, and that, you know, on Etsy it was all just folk working from home that were making handmade goods. So I had a look, and I was conscious of the fact that it was very, very big, and I thought, right, okay, I'll give this a go, and I put on my first thing and I sat there, and needless to say, absolutely nothing happened, because Etsy is like a shark pond, quite frankly, and it's impossible to become noticed on Etsy unless you have some other way of drawing attention to yourself. Right, that's done as far as I'm concerned. I've got decoupage, sorry, I've got wee bits of fibres all over my hand. Decoupage here, I've got a wee bit of lace there, some cheesecloth, and my wee envelope with my letter. Here's another wee bit of cheesecloth with my typewriter, old typewriter image, and my, I hope I've got this in shot, okay, my thingy there, and my wee bit of fancy lace on the front there, so we'll keep that, put that in, and I've only got one left to do. So Etsy, I can't say I find Etsy a particularly great method of selling, and I think it's a system that's been, their analytics, their what do you call it, their way of dealing with things. If you're selling in America, you're shown to an American audience first. If you're selling in Europe, you're shown to a European audience first. Now, I'll tell you for a fact, junk journals are not something that British folk had heard of. Likewise, crafting itself in Britain is, it's in its infancy. It should have been something that's been quite widely known, but it isn't. So as a result, I think it's a very, very difficult market to crack, very difficult. but I'm not prepared to give up completely. I'll just keep making my stuff, do my wee videos, and hope that folks see the videos and like what I make and decide to buy my stuff occasionally. It's not as if I'm looking for massive money for stuff. What I'm actually looking for is enough money to justify continuing, and basically to move some of the stuff out of my house, because just tons of cards, tons and tons of cards. Cards are very difficult to sell. To sell a card you have to rely on folk being thoughtful when it comes to other people and caring about what they're putting on a card. Right, so I've got another wee bill here. This one's from, I think it's 1896, somewhere in Birmingham, and it's some sort of library, and I've put the wee image on top of that. So we shall add this to the front. So we've got that matted and layered. Oops, wrong way round. Now, got one wee stamp left, which I'll put down the bottom. Right, bear with me, I'm going to have to stop the camera just now. Right, sorry, don't know what I'm doing. It would really help if I looked at the camera when I was working it. Right, I'm going to add just this wee bit of fancy lace. Really like this. It's a kind of bridal lace thing that I got from, oh, it came from eBay, that's right. It's for China, of course, where it would appear a fair old bit of good stuff comes from China. And I certainly don't mind helping the Chinese economy when they're helping me. Now, I've got a really nice bit of decoupage, but it's quite big, and I think it's actually too big for there. Oh, I know what I could use. I've got some crossword puzzle, and I'm just going to go over it with, I hope you can see this okay, distress ink, just to kind of dull it down a bit. And what I'm going to do is cut it into a wee fancy shape. I think that looks quite good. And of course I can get my money's worth out of this. By cutting it into a few different bits and using it, because I've run out of, I've not got a lot of decoupage stuff left. So I do have some, so I'm going to put a wee bit of glue here and add this very attractive little yellow rose. And you know what song's going through my head, don't you? Oh, do 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 do. I'll be singing that all day now. I don't know the words, of course, to the Yellow Rose of Texas, but that won't stop me. Well, it won't stop me for doing the tune, you know, that's unfortunately what I'm like. And I've got a butterfly, a little greenish butterfly for over here, and we'll put that at a wee jointy angle, get my trusty acetate and hold that down. That's fine. Now, I am running out of I've got a little blue doily here, so I think what I'll do is I'll add a wee bit of distress ink to the edge of the doily. It's not blue, right, it's from a scrapbooking paper that had, and that's the bit that's left of the paper that this came from. It had blue images on it, so what we'll do is we'll add that along with a little bit of the crossword puzzle, and I think we'll put a little itty bit of the cheesecloth below it for a wee bit added interest. Do you know, my desk's still not going to be clear, but I'm running out of things to make embellishments, because at the end of the day, if I'm making these embellishments, what I really need to do more than anything else is consider making a journal, and I really find my motivation somewhat lacking at the moment when it comes to journal. I'm going to just stick that there. It's quite random, I know that, but that's okay, because that is the nature of the journal. Now, I think we'll use a wee envelope on the other side. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would today, I have to say. Mostly because I've been wittering away like an old compressor, but now I want to trim off that wee bit at the bottom, so that's just annoying me. I'm going to stick this wee bit of crossword puzzle down first. And then do my wee envelope and top of it there. Let me have a wee quick look at this to see if I can, if there's, you know, there is a wee bit we can use, because I really like this, it's very attractive. Oops, fire and sequence. Oh hell, where did that go the next? It sounds as if it's the daft half hour when the dog's out in the garden. Right, we'll put that wee, can you see this okay? Because I don't know what my angle's like, because the camera's been on and off that much. Let's just cut a little. See, these are quite, oh, they're quite good. I think we'll stick that there. Quite like this, I really do. It's, do you know, sometimes this is another thing that kind of worries me about folk when they watch videos like this. I think sometimes it's not so much how folk layer as what they're layering with that is really quite interesting. Some folk have absolutely incredible laces, and I really like this lace. I think this is really beautiful, and I should maybe have tea dyed it, but it's so sparkly that I didn't want to. Right, that's going to do me. Right, so there we go, that is the last one. Are you seeing that okay? We've got 2 pockets there, and obviously that will be put in such a way that that becomes a pocket. I'm not happy with that, hold on, right, pulling that off. But I've still got my sequins, so I'm okay. And my other ones, that needs lace. This is really quite economical doing this, you know, cutting sections out and using it. Add that to the front because I really like it, I'm sorry but I do. And that's us. Right, there you go. That'll need to do for the time being. I think actually. If that was just that wee bit smaller. Going to stick that in. I want to try and get that just behind that wee bit of lace if I can, it's all curling up. That's fine. Right, that's us. Did it. The end. Right, so there's my pockets, and there's pockets come tucks again, and hope that's been of interest to some folk. Any questions, any comments, anything at all you want to throw at me, just give me a shout. And hold on, I've got another wee bit of lace here. What about adding that down there? It's all about getting it off my desk. Oops. Just a wee extra something. I've also got that, wait a minute. We'll add that. This was a big doily that I cut up. It was quite a good size, and it's been invaluable. And you know that it's one of these things that when I bought it I thought, well, that's quite nice. But then, you know, you get it up the road and you unpack it for your bag and you think, how am I going to use that? And sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and actually cut stuff. Right, that's us. I've done my 3. I'll try and tidy my desk and take a photograph of these and put it on the Junk Journal Junkies website. Any comments, by all means give me a shout, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Sorry it's taken me so long, but thanks very much for your time. Bye 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 bye.